Well, many of us may be worried about an aging relative or even a couple living alone. You can actually use the holiday season to observe different areas of functioning and either validate or relieve you of your concern. And here to explain how is Stephanie Erickson, who's a family caregiving expert. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks, Andrea.
So it's an interesting point you make that getting together over the holidays is an opportunity for people to sort of check in on family members they might be worried about. And the first area that you want to address are physical changes that someone might have undergone if you haven't seen them in a while.
That's right, because usually over the holidays it's been sometimes even months since we've seen somebody. There are lots of physical changes, very obvious changes, weight loss. It's rarely weight gain for people who are aging. It's usually weight loss. But one thing I want to point out is sort of the different things that people don't think about. For example, women tend to always have, especially of this generation, have their lipstick on, they have all their jewelry on, and that's one thing you start noticing when people are having trouble is they can't groom in the same way. So for women, it's no lipstick. Okay. Or no jewelry. And for men, men on the holiday time, they might wear nice slacks and have a sweater vest, and then holidays come around and you show up and they're in sweats when you arrive at their house. And that's kind of a sign that things aren't going so well.
So be in tune to those physical cues. Yeah. If you're going to their house, you can actually observe their home environment.
Yeah, exactly. And so things that would be noticeable for you to see without even having a conversation with the person is the disorganization in the home or things placed differently. So let's say dishware or other things stacked up around counters because maybe the person's having mobility trouble and they can no longer reach high or reach low, so they're starting to stack things. And also stacks of papers, newspapers and mail. When it stacks up, that's usually a sign that someone's having trouble organizing or understanding documents and they're just kind of starting to pile up.
I guess that sort of leads into your next point, which is cognitive issues.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see that with, like I said, stacks of paper, and also when you look in the refrigerator, that's a sure sign that someone's having cognitive problems because they might be purchasing the same item multiple times. So there's 3 or 4 milks in there, or there's not a lot of food, or the food is expired.
You mentioned a really heartbreaking one to me as well, as if maybe a grandparent would forget to buy gifts or forget one grandchild or something like that.
It's so sad. I've heard this many, many times where a holiday period comes and a grandparent who's typically spoiling their grandchildren just completely forgets to buy gifts or forgets the daughter-in-law or forgets one grandchild, in terms of gifts. It's so sad.
We don't have a lot of time left, but I know people watching who might have some light bulbs going off are going, what do I do? How do I approach this? Because it is a delicate topic.
It's really delicate, and I think we need to start slowly. You had said something to me before we went live about, do we call in a caregiver? I think that's a big leap. I think we need to start just being honest and having a very non-threatening conversation. I'm noticing some difficulty. Make sure that the timing is good. You don't want to do it during the family meal, and you want to respect somebody's privacy. So wait until after the holiday passes and then have a nice private moment.
So it's really about starting that conversation. It's so important. Thank you so much for coming in today. Stephanie Erickson, a family caregiving expert, and stay with us. Lots more to come on Global News Morning.